Shalom, shalom. First off, I just want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations be unto the 1/3 men, women, and children of the elect, and to the 144,000, and to the Akim priest in his truth, unto the four corners of the globe. To you I say shalom. I'm the brother Halayim from the Chicago camp, GMS branch of Chicago. And this video is going to be a response to the brother Kadashia, GMS Wise as Serpents. You know, here's his page down here if you want to subscribe and be edified. And basically, he made a lesson, you know, getting on the younger brothers, getting on the Generation Z Akim, which, you know, Generation Z, that's a category of people that were born in between 1997 and 2012. But basically, in this lesson, he's getting on the young men, the young brothers in this faith, you know, and, you know, basically getting on them about, you know, attaining to the wise counsel of the elders and listening to what the elders have to say. Because when you come into this truth, you put that garment on, you open the Bible, you start preaching. Hey, you have to take counsel after the older men that were preaching the truth to the four corners of the earth before you. Because they know more than you and they have more experience than you have. You know? They've been your age before, so they know what it's like to be in the situation that you're in. So you always have to attain to the wise counsel of the elders. Without further ado, let's go to the book of Lamentations, chapter 3. I'll start at verse 26, and it says, "It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of Yahweh. It is good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth." Right. So it's good for a young man to bear the yoke of discipline when coming into this truth and attaining to the wise counsel of the elders that learned before you, you know? Because me personally, you know, I recently just crossed the line, you know, not too long ago. You know, I've been learning, you know, more than I've ever learned before. I've been trying to, you know, serve the Lord better. And I wouldn't even be able to know any of the stuff that I knew if it wasn't for the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. You know, my father, you know, his name, he's Elder Demashapot, you know, he taught me, he actually brought me into the truth at a very young age. So that's another reason why it's very important to attain to the, you know, the wise counsel of the elders, man. Because us young men, we wouldn't know half the stuff that we knew if it wasn't for these older men teaching it to us. If it wasn't for us watching the videos of the elders, you know, watching, you know, how they get precepts and break the precepts down, we wouldn't know any of that stuff if it wasn't for those men. This is Leviticus chapter 19. In verse 32, it says, "Thou shalt rise up before the hoary head and honor the face of the old man and fear thy power, for I am the Lord." Right, so respecting and reverencing, you know, the elders and the older men in general, that's a custom that all that Israelites have to partake in. You know, like, this shit that these young niggas do today, where they disrespect the older men that taught them all the stuff that they know. You know, it's in our customs to attain to the wise counsel of elders and rise up before the hoary head and show honor to the elders. Because they taught us, you know, basically all the stuff that we know. We wouldn't know shit if it wasn't for them. If it wasn't for Elder Apostle Tahar, Elder Apostle Akar, Elder Apostle Aramlab, and Elder Apostle Gabar, we wouldn't know anything, man. If it wasn't for those men going into libraries and constantly studying, you know, getting knowledge to teach the flock of Israel, we wouldn't know any of that stuff if it wasn't for those men. This is 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 17. It says, "Let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in word and in doctrine." Right, because the elders that labored in word and in doctrine are the ones who taught us everything we know about being in this truth, about how to serve the Lord, you know, how to deal with scoffers, people talking shit to you because if you're a young man and you see the men of the Lord teaching on the streets, and you think that it looks cool, and you want to be in the mix because you want to look cool, like that's not going to work out very well for you. Because being a young man in this faith, hey, you have to cast off all the shit that these other young people do. So smoking weed, just committing all types of sin, committing adultery, getting lineups, all the stuff that these young people do, you have to cast off all of that, man, because you're a man of the Lord. You're supposed to be holy, and holy means separate. It means to be set apart, And we learned under who? The elders, because they're older than us. They have more experience than us. They have more wisdom, and they've been our age before. We haven't been their age. So how can we be prideful, Let's go to 1 Thessalonians. 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 15. Wait a minute. Slacky. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 15. This Slacky. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 15. Therefore, brethren, stand fast and hold the traditions which ye have been taught, whether by word or by epistle. And how do you hold on to the traditions that you have been taught if they were passed down to you by the men that were before you? That's why Job chapter 8 verse 8 says, learn the way of thy fathers and learn the old paths, because the old paths were taught by older men that taught before that taught before us, that came before us, That's why it's so important to learn from the men that came before you, because they have more knowledge than you. Not in every case, because you do have some old, wicked niggas out here. But a man of the Lord that's been in this thing, that's been preaching for 4 decades, for 40 plus years, you shouldn't have anything bad to say about them. You shouldn't be trying to overtalk them. You should be attaining the wise counsel, because those men, you don't even know the hours of rigorous studying and reading and studying history that those apostles and elders had to do to be able to learn half the stuff that they've learned. Even the names, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. None of these people would know that if it wasn't for the elders and apostles, the great millstone. But all of a sudden, after they come under the learning and the tutelage of the elders and apostles, and they get a certain level of knowledge themselves, now they want to talk shit to them and say that the elders don't know anything, when if it wasn't for them teaching them the stuff that they learned, they wouldn't know shit, This is 1 Kings. 1 Kings chapter 12. I start at verse 1. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel were come to Shechem to make him king. And when it came to pass that Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt. And they sent and called him, and Jeroboam and the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father in his heavy yoke which he put upon us, and we will serve thee. So the people were basically complaining because, they were heavy taxes being put upon them. They had heavy burdens that they just couldn't carry. And they were going to Rehoboam, and they were telling them, like, man, make this easier on us. But continuing on, it says, Salakia, and he said unto them, Depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me. And the people departed. And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men, right, the elders, that stood before Solomon his father, while he yet lived, and said, How do ye advise that I may answer this people? So he went to the old men, the elders, and asked them how could he, how could he answer these people? What answer do you want me to give to these people so that I can, learn how to be a better king? And this is what they said to him. And they spake unto him, saying, If thou will be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them and answer them, and speak good words unto them, they and thy servants, they will be thy servants forever. And they told him the truth. You know, a part of being a king is that you have to perform the services of the people, because those are the people that you're protecting. You know, that's a kingly duty, man. That's what kings do. But he forsook the counsel of the old men which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and stood before him. And he said unto them, What counsel give ye that we may answer this people, who have spoken to me, saying, Make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter? And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, Thou shalt speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, Thy father made our yoke heavy, but maketh thou lighter unto us. You shall say unto them, My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. So they said that. So when Rehoboam rejected the counsel of the old men, and he went to the younger men to seek counsel, they told him to make the burden upon the people even harder than it previously was. And this is what happened as a result of that. Continuing on to verse 11, and it says, And now, whereas my father did lade you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father have chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the third day, as the king had appointed, saying, Come to me again the third day. And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave them, and they spanked them after the counsel of the young men, right? These young niggas that really don't know shit, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord, that he might perform this saying which Yahweh spake by Ahijah the Shilonite of Jeroboam unto the son of Nebat. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, What portion have we with David? Neither have we any inheritance in the son of Jesse to your tents, O Israel. Now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents, man. So the people, they were angry because Rehoboam made their burdens more difficult, and rightfully so. And the kingdom was split between Rehoboam and, in fact, I'll just read down. But as for the children of Israel, which dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. Right. So the kingdom of Israel was split, man. The kingdom of Judah went under King Rehoboam, and the kingdom of Israel, the northern kingdom, they were under King Jeroboam. Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the tribute, and all Israel stoned him with stones that he died. Therefore King Rehoboam made speed to get him up on his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. So Israel rebelled against the house of David onto this day. And after that, it was a major war between the kingdom of Judah, King Rehoboam, and the kingdom of Israel, King Jeroboam. But long story short, all of this stuff happened simply because King Rehoboam forsook the counsel of the elders and chose not to take, wise counsel from the older men. And as a result of that, the kingdom got split, man. So that right there is proof that young men in this truth should attain to the wise counsel of elders at all times. Slacky. This is Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 5. And it says, A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. So there's a saying in the world, a smart man learns from his mistakes, and a wise man learns from a smart man's mistakes. If a man learns from another man's mistakes, and the young man learns from the elder's mistakes, and the elder tells the younger brother what to do and what not to do, and how to act in this truth and how to not act, it will only be wise that you would seek the wise counsel of the elders, because they have more experience than you have. But in this wicked generation, these people, these young girls and these young boys, they don't really know how to act, man, because majority of them have no fathers. They don't have no father figure in the home, and as a result of that, look at what's happened to our people. They're completely out of order. They don't even know how to act. Now you got shootings happening, people getting shot, people getting killed because the man has been, taken out of the home. But it's like I'm kind of going off topic, but the point is, man, always attain to the counsel of the elders, man. They labored before us, and they're the reason that we have all this knowledge that we have today, man. So you always have to attain to the wise counsel of the men that came before you. Last scripture I'm going to get, Job chapter 8 and verse 8, and it says, For inquire I pray thee of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of thy fathers, right? The people that came before you. Because if you attain to the wise counsel of the elders, it'll always be something new that you'll learn. And you'll improve as a young man, and you'll eventually, and when you grow in this truth and you reach a certain level, you can go from learning from the elders to teaching what they taught you, and you can teach it up to the men that come after you. But yeah, man, this is a quick lesson on, the Generation Z Akim. The majority of our generation is done. These young men and these young women out here, man, our generation is finished, man. These people are going to be destroyed. But with that, man, all praise, honor, and glory be to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Akakwadash. Double honors to the elders and to the apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom, and I'll see you on the next lesson.